And the more information that keeps coming out, it just makes any association with him or his empire bad for other businesses.
You know, when you're in a kind of industry like rap, hip hop, music industry in general, the secrets around, working for a label.
Once the epitome of success and extravagance, Sean Diddy Combs now finds himself at the heart of a scandal that has shaken the entertainment industry to its core. The man behind Grammy-winning hits and a billion-dollar empire spanning music, fashion, and media is facing allegations that could dismantle everything he built and potentially land him behind bars. This story has it all: power, betrayal, and a legal battle of epic proportions. So, how did one of music's most celebrated icons become the focus of a federal investigation? Let's uncover the scandal that has everyone talking. In November 2023, the facade of Diddy's empire began to crumble. His ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, filed a bombshell lawsuit that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The lawsuit unveiled a decade-long nightmare, a chilling pattern of control, physical abuse, and behavior too disturbing for most to imagine. Cassie, who started dating Diddy at just 19, described herself as trapped in a toxic relationship. She claimed she was manipulated, degraded, and subjected to horrifying acts orchestrated by a man who allegedly used his immense wealth and influence to dominate and exploit those closest to him. The lawsuit painted a graphic and deeply unsettling portrait of one of the industry's most powerful figures.
Video will follow him for the rest of his life. People will always remember that.
Cassie Ventura's decision to break her silence wasn't random. It was strategic. Her lawsuit came in the final days of New York's Adult Survivors Act, a temporary law allowing survivors to file claims against alleged abusers long after the statute of limitations had expired. And what a claim it was. Cassie accused Diddy of controlling every facet of her life: her career, her personal choices, even her medical records. She described living in constant fear, subjected to physical abuse, psychological manipulation, and deeply disturbing situations. Among the most chilling allegations was a claim that Diddy threatened a fellow musician, allegedly destroying their car as a warning. The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the media, igniting a frenzy of speculation about Diddy's once unshakable legacy. But what truly grabbed public attention was the stunning speed of the settlement. Just one day after the lawsuit was filed, both Cassie and Diddy issued cryptic statements claiming the matter had been resolved amicably. Yet, the rapid settlement raised more questions than answers. Critics argued it wasn't about clearing Diddy's name. It was about silencing Cassie before more explosive details could surface. Though the terms of the settlement remain confidential, one thing was certain: this was far from over. As the world watched, it became clear that this wasn't just the resolution of a lawsuit. It was the start of a deeper unraveling.
Like a very toxic work environment. What is your take on that?
Toxic, but this is illegal behavior. You cannot put hands. This is battery. It's criminal battery.
Cassie's lawsuit didn't just crack open the door. It tore it off its hinges. Within weeks, more women came forward with shocking allegations against Diddy, each claim more harrowing than the last. These accusations span decades, from the early 1990s to the 2010s, and they paint a disturbing picture of a man who allegedly wielded his power to exploit and intimidate. One woman, identified only as Jane Doe, alleged she was coerced into participating in acts she never consented to, and she was just a minor at the time. Another woman claimed Diddy secretly filmed her and then showed these recordings to others without her knowledge. With every new revelation, the accusations grew darker and more damning. The lawsuits multiplied, and the public scrutiny intensified. Each allegation added weight to a mounting narrative of control, abuse, and betrayal that could no longer be ignored. Diddy's legal team vehemently denied the claims, but the sheer volume of accusations became impossible to dismiss. What started as a single lawsuit had evolved into a reckoning, one that could permanently alter the legacy of a man who once stood at the pinnacle of fame.
Grand jury that's impaneled right now, and that those people that did not talk then, they will be compelled to talk in a grand jury.
Cassie's lawsuit wasn't just another celebrity scandal. It was a deeply personal account of survival. This was the story of a young woman who spent her most vulnerable years under the control of one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. In her lawsuit, Cassie painted a harrowing picture of her relationship with Diddy, a world where she constantly walked on eggshells, living in fear of triggering his explosive temper. Among the shocking allegations was a chilling incident from 2016. Cassie claimed Diddy chased her down a hotel hallway, threw her to the ground, and kicked her. Months later, surveillance footage of the alleged assault surfaced, appearing to corroborate her claims and delivering yet another devastating blow to Diddy's already tarnished reputation. This wasn't just about fame or power. It was about exposing a dark reality behind the glitz and glamour, a reality that Cassie was no longer willing to endure in silence. Her bravery in coming forward inspired others, but it also intensified the scrutiny on a man whose empire was beginning to crumble under the weight of these allegations.
He don't know. You pay those lawyers to know. Those lawyers know what he's gonna beat, and those lawyers know what he ain't gonna beat.
Let's not forget who we're talking about here. Sean Diddy Combs isn't just another celebrity. He's a mogul, a pioneer who helped shape the sound of modern hip-hop and built an empire that left its mark on fashion, television, and pop culture. For years, Diddy seemed untouchable, a larger-than-life figure who thrived amid the glitz and glamour. Whether it was his high-profile relationships, his legendary parties, or his groundbreaking business ventures, Diddy always had a way of emerging unscathed, his reputation intact. He was the embodiment of resilience and reinvention. But that image, the unstoppable mogul, the icon above reproach, has now been shattered. In its place is a man at the center of allegations so serious they threaten to eclipse everything he has ever accomplished. The accusations have cast a dark shadow over his legacy, turning the narrative of triumph into one of controversy and reckoning.
At 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the...
As lawsuits continued to pile up, so did Diddy's legal troubles. By early 2024, the situation took a dramatic turn. Federal authorities, including the Department of Homeland Security, became involved, reportedly raiding properties linked to Diddy as part of a larger investigation. These raids marked a significant turning point. This wasn't just about civil lawsuits anymore. It was about the possibility of criminal charges. Prosecutors unearthed what they described as a disturbing pattern of misconduct stretching back years, involving not just Diddy, but also a network of associates and employees. Suddenly, the spotlight widened. This wasn't just about one man's alleged actions. It was about an entire system of enablers who may have helped him maintain control and silence anyone who dared to speak out. The raid sent a clear message. This was no longer just a scandal confined to Hollywood headlines. It had become a legal battle that could have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in, every bit of it.
And speak out they did. The allegations against Diddy weren't confined to his relationship with Cassie. Women from all walks of life began coming forward, each with their own harrowing story. Some claimed they were coerced into uncomfortable situations during extravagant, days-long parties, while others described being subjected to emotional manipulation and veiled threats. One particularly chilling account came from a woman who alleged she was flown across the country and forced into a situation she couldn't escape. The common thread in all these stories was clear: Diddy's alleged use of his wealth and power to control, manipulate, and silence those around him. Each new account added fuel to the fire, intensifying the public's scrutiny and turning what began as an isolated scandal into a widespread reckoning.
Here. And so what the plaintiff in this case did was filed for what we call a temporary restraining order, which would have prevented Diddy, or would prevent him, from selling that Los Angeles home. And so we know, or at least we believe, that that TRO was granted to enjoin or stop him from selling that home.
To push back, Diddy's defense team, led by the seasoned attorney Mark Agnifilo, framed the allegations as part of a coordinated effort to destroy his reputation and exploit his wealth. Agnifilo, known for handling high-profile cases, didn't hold back. He described Cassie's lawsuit as nothing more than an opportunistic attempt to extort Diddy before filing her claims. According to Agnifilo, the allegations were exaggerated or outright fabricated, designed to tear down a man who had built his empire from the ground up. But for all the defense's bluster, the battle was far from easy. The sheer number of accusations, coupled with growing public outrage, made it difficult to shift the narrative. And then there was the video. The surveillance footage from 2016, which appeared to show Diddy physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway, was a game changer. For many, it was concrete evidence that backed up Cassie's claims, turning the tide in the court of public opinion. Diddy's subsequent apology, in which he admitted that his behavior in the video was inexcusable, did little to help his case. In fact, it raised even more questions about what else he might be hiding.
Clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they.
As the case unfolded, the media couldn't get enough. Every new allegation, every court appearance, and every leaked piece of evidence became headline news. Social media exploded with debates over Diddy's legacy, some defending him as the victim of a smear campaign, while others condemned him as the embodiment of unchecked power. The entertainment industry, once his ally, seemed to turn its back. Projects were swiftly canceled, partnerships dissolved, and former collaborators remained conspicuously silent. Even Diddy's long-standing relationship with his own media company, Revolt, was put on hold as the allegations continued to pile up. For a man who had once been an untouchable mogul, the fallout was swift and unforgiving. His empire, which seemed indestructible just months before, now appeared to be crumbling under the weight of scandal.
Government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being. They have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Behind the scenes, Diddy's legal team was scrambling to keep up. The defense strategy was twofold: discredit the accusers and undermine the government's case. Agnifilo, leading the charge, argued that many of the allegations were based on hearsay or lacked concrete evidence. He also questioned the motivations of the accusers, suggesting they were driven by financial gain rather than a genuine pursuit of justice. But these arguments faced a major obstacle: the growing list of witnesses ready to testify against Diddy. From former employees to industry insiders, it seemed like everyone had a story to tell, and few of them were in Diddy's favor. The defense team was quickly learning that discrediting the accusers wouldn't be enough when so many others were willing to expose the dark underbelly of Diddy's empire.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact. Meanwhile, Cassie remained a central figure in the case. Her decision to file the lawsuit was seen by many as an act of immense courage, a chance to reclaim her narrative after years of silence. But it was also a decision fraught with risks. Diddy's legal team was relentless, digging into her past and questioning her every move. They pointed to the settlement as proof that her claims were more about money than justice, a tactic meant to tarnish her credibility. But Cassie's supporters countered, arguing that the settlement was simply a way for her to move forward without being dragged through a prolonged and painful legal battle. As the case unfolded, the stakes couldn't have been higher for Diddy. The outcome of this lawsuit would not only determine his freedom, but also define his entire legacy. For his accusers, it was about holding a powerful man accountable for his actions. And for the entertainment industry, it was a moment of reckoning, a chance to confront the darker side of fame, power, and unchecked influence. One thing was certain: this story was far from over. With a trial date looming and more revelations likely to come, the world would be watching as one of music's biggest stars fought for his future.
To be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
They say power can be intoxicating, but what happens when it crosses the line? As Sean Diddy Combs faces what some are calling the trial of the century, the layers of this case are peeling back to expose a world of privilege, secrecy, and shocking allegations. The courtroom is no longer just a place for legal battles. It's becoming a theater where Diddy's empire, reputation, and legacy are all on the line. As this unfolding saga continues, one thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher.
Some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We will.
If you think this is just another celebrity scandal, think again. This case is rapidly evolving into a massive legal showdown, and all eyes are now on Diddy's legal team as they work tirelessly to dismantle the government's case, piece by piece. Leading the charge is Mark Agnifilo, a high-profile attorney known for his sharp strategies and unrivaled ability to spin even the most complicated cases in his client's favor. Agnifilo is often described as a master of courtroom theatrics, someone who thrives on the high drama and pressure of high-stakes trials. And with Diddy's billion-dollar empire on the line, Agnifilo is pulling out all the stops.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
From the very beginning, Mark Agnifilo made it clear that he wasn't just defending Diddy's innocence. He was launching an all-out attack on the foundation of the charges against him. In his own words, this case isn't about justice. It's about tearing down a successful man and exploiting his fame. During a tense court hearing, Agnifilo declared, "These accusations are nothing more than a coordinated attempt to ruin my client's reputation and legacy." His defense strategy hinges on painting Diddy as the victim of opportunistic individuals looking to cash in, rather than a perpetrator of the crimes he's accused of. But let's not forget, this is more than just a battle over public perception. The legal stakes are enormous. Among the most serious charges Diddy faces are those brought under the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act, and for those unfamiliar, RICO is no ordinary legal tool. It's a heavy-duty law often used to dismantle organized crime syndicates. Prosecutors are alleging that Diddy orchestrated a network to enable his misconduct, using his businesses, staff, and immense wealth to maintain control and silence anyone who posed a threat. Essentially, they're painting him as the mastermind of a sprawling operation designed to protect his interests at any cost.
The evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been.
And it doesn't stop there. The government is accusing Diddy of using his private jets, luxury properties, and celebrity-studded events as tools to lure and manipulate individuals. From extravagant gatherings that allegedly concealed darker intentions to accusations that his staff played a role in facilitating questionable activities, the prosecution is weaving a narrative that Diddy's empire wasn't just built on ambition, but on exploitation. Photos, text messages, and even private flight logs are reportedly being presented as key evidence, adding even more layers of complexity to a case already bursting with shocking twists and turns. As the web of allegations grows, the stakes continue to rise, and so does the scrutiny on every move Diddy makes.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in.
Agnifilo isn't shying away from these accusations. Instead, he's adopting a bold approach, arguing that the so-called networks were simply routine operations for a man of Diddy's stature. According to Agnifilo, the staff, the jets, and the high-profile events were just tools of a successful businessman, not evidence of any wrongdoing. When you're at the top of the entertainment world, your life is under a microscope, Agnifilo said in court. Every move you make is scrutinized, and every interaction is twisted to fit a narrative. If that sounds convincing, it's because Agnifilo knows exactly how to frame his arguments. He's working to shift the focus away from the alleged victims and redirect it back onto the credibility of the accusations themselves. Take, for example, the surveillance footage that surfaced earlier this year, showing Diddy in a heated altercation with Cassie Ventura. Many saw the video as damning evidence, but Agnifilo has framed it as an isolated incident that's being blown out of proportion. "We're not here to judge a man for one mistake," Agnifilo argued. "We're here to examine whether these allegations hold up under the law." The courtroom is now the stage for this intense battle of narratives, and Agnifilo is taking no prisoners.
You all know I made a request today for what we were calling a gag order, and I'm not going to walk out of court and do anything else.
While Agnifilo's confidence remains unwavering, the prosecution isn't backing down. They're armed with a mountain of evidence, including testimony from multiple individuals who claim to have witnessed or experienced misconduct firsthand. One of the most explosive pieces of evidence is a series of text messages allegedly sent by Diddy, which prosecutors say reveal a pattern of intimidation and control. These messages reportedly include threats, promises of financial ruin, and even instructions to staff on how to handle sensitive situations. If these texts are proven authentic, they could be a game changer in the courtroom, shifting the balance of the case dramatically. As the prosecution tightens its grip, Diddy's defense will need to confront these revelations head-on, with the stakes higher than ever.
Trying a criminal case in the modern times, a lot of evidence is on electronic devices, cell phone, tablets, computers, things of that nature. And the devices, especially if you have like external hard drives, 90-something terabytes of data on a single device makes me think some type of hard drive. That takes weeks to go through just for one device on its own.
And then there's the testimony. Former employees, industry insiders, and even close friends of Diddy have reportedly come forward to share their accounts. Some describe a culture of fear and loyalty, where speaking out wasn't just discouraged, it was dangerous. Others claim they were pressured into covering up incidents or even facilitating questionable activities. These testimonies are painting a disturbing picture of a man who allegedly used his immense power to bend others to his will. And while Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to discredit these witnesses, the sheer number of individuals stepping forward makes it harder to dismiss their accounts as mere fabrications. As the trial continues, one of the most contentious issues is the role of Cassie Ventura. While her lawsuit may have been settled, her story remains central to the prosecution's case. Prosecutors are reportedly planning to call her as a key witness, using her allegations to establish a pattern of behavior that spans years. This puts Diddy's defense team in a difficult position. How do you counter the testimony of someone who not only knew him intimately, but also has documented evidence to back up her claims?
You know, we have seen many photos, videos of Sean Combs, aka Diddy, through the Associated Press, through Instagram. And so to see him kind of in person after being in jail for 3 weeks now was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I say that by being that you would expect him to feel a little defeated, a little gaunt, anything like that. But it wasn't that case. He appeared confident. He stood tall.
Agnifilo's approach has been to question Cassie's motives, suggesting that her decision to sue Diddy was driven by financial gain rather than a genuine pursuit of justice. He's pointed to the settlement as evidence that her claims were more about money than truth. However, this tactic is fraught with risks. By attacking Cassie's credibility, Diddy's team could come off as callous or dismissive of her serious allegations, a move that could easily backfire in the court of public opinion. The stakes are high, and one misstep could be disastrous for Diddy's already crumbling image.
Responsibility. Well, you got to do your due diligence, and his team should have did the due diligence. And a lot of times, people do slip through the cracks. There's things that you don't see and don't find out until later on. But I mean, when people are making claims like the way people are making claims, you have to do your due diligence to make sure that if you're having that person on your platform, which is a huge platform, that you're putting out the proper and correct news.
And public opinion matters more than ever in this case. With every new revelation, the media frenzy grows, and the lines between fact, rumor, and speculation continue to blur. Social media has turned into a battlefield, with hashtags and viral posts amplifying every detail, whether verified or not. Some argue that Diddy is being unfairly tried in the court of public opinion, while others see this as a long overdue reckoning for a man who they claim has evaded accountability for far too long. But let's not forget, this isn't just about Diddy. The implications of this case extend far beyond the fate of one man. It's a wake-up call for an industry that has long been criticized for enabling toxic behavior and turning a blind eye to misconduct. If Diddy is found guilty, it could set a precedent that sends shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, forcing other powerful figures to confront their past actions and reckon with the consequences. The ripple effect could change the industry forever.
So, Brianna, the judge has set a May 5th trial date for Sean Diddy Combs to face those charges of racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation of prostitution. Now, Diddy was in court today. He entered the courtroom wearing a jail-issued outfit, a khaki long-sleeve shirt, pants. He was also shackled.
And yet, there's still so much we don't know. The trial is far from over, and with each hearing, new details emerge, further complicating the narrative. For instance, recent reports suggest that federal agents uncovered undisclosed items during a raid on one of Diddy's properties, items that could potentially become crucial evidence. What exactly these items are and how they tie into the prosecution's case remains shrouded in mystery. But their discovery has injected yet another layer of intrigue into an already complex story. Meanwhile, Diddy has maintained his innocence. Through his legal team, he issued strong statements denying any wrongdoing. These accusations are baseless, he said in a recent interview. I've built my career on hard work and respect, and I will fight to clear my name. However, as the evidence piles up and the trial continues, clearing his name is proving to be a far steeper climb than he ever anticipated.
Those situations lend to maybe some issues with tampering. And I do feel like there are victims who are scared to come forward, including my client. She was very nervous about if he was going to get bail this week. And once I told her, and then come after people, including her and some of the other individuals, and she was very relieved when he did not receive.
Amidst all the headlines and legal jargon, we must not lose sight of the human element at play. Behind the public spectacle are real people, individuals whose lives have been forever altered by this case. For the accusers, this trial represents a chance to finally speak their truth and seek the justice they feel has been denied for so long. For Diddy, it's a battle for his legacy, his freedom, and everything he's spent years building. And for the entertainment industry, this trial marks a pivotal moment of reckoning, one that could reshape how power and accountability are perceived in Hollywood and beyond.